Perfect. Okay, with huge apologies to everyone who has remained on the link, I would like to start this discussion where we have gathered today with my great colleagues from Eros International Network. We will be speaking about the EUROPRIVACY, which is something that I will not be describing at this point because we've got people much more knowledgeable about this topic and this issue here with me on the call today. So I will remain with introducing myself and my colleagues here and then pass the word to them. So my name is Wojciech Sucharda. I'm the chairman of Eros International, the international network of specialized law firms having the reach globally and providing the worldwide legal and advisory services. And with me here today, my invitation has been accepted by my colleague Elena Poc from Lyon, Spain, a professional DPO who will be speaking about the reality of the EUROPRIVACY in Spain. And last but not least, mainly the person who actually informed me about the fact that something like EUROPRIVACY exists, I will admit that. That is Zoltán Temesi from ABT law firm from Hungary, and also a person representing the company Tamsart, which is one of the first certified authorities or certified companies that can provide the EUROPRIVACY GDPR compliance seal. So, once again, everyone, apologies for the late start. Luckily, we have managed to do so. And I truly hope that we will have a beautiful 40 minutes together where we will speak about the mainly practical aspects of the EUROPRIVACY regulation. So I would start with giving the word to Zoltán, who will tell us a little bit about himself, and then mainly, why should we even know what EUROPRIVACY is? And then Elena will take it from there with the reality in Spain, and we will have some insightful discussion. Zoltán, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Wojciech. Basically, you made my introduction, so I will be very quick. I'm an attorney at law, certified data privacy and data security expert, and a specialized European law expert as well. And I'm working at a law firm ABT Legal, but I'm also, as Wojciech just mentioned, I'm lead auditor at Tamsart, which is a certification body. And we are doing EUROPRIVACY audits together with Tamsart. We've been doing since 2024. But before I go much into details, probably it is worth to mention before EUROPRIVACY, that probably it's worth to mention what is EUROPRIVACY at all. You just mentioned that EUROPRIVACY is a data protection seal, European data protection seal, which is correct, but there are other seals as well. However, EUROPRIVACY is the only officially registered data protection seal. So basically, it is widely recognized in all EU countries. It was developed in a research project, Age 2020, supported and co-funded by the European Commission. And the actual scheme was analyzed, assessed, and finally approved by the European Data Protection Board, which is the highest board, the highest body, European body who deals with data privacy matters. And it's a big issue because from there on, the EUROPRIVACY seal was open to be applied and to actually start first audits. But since it is a certified process, not everyone can issue a certification, of course, not only accredited companies, accredited bodies. And Tamsart was the very first one who received an accreditation to conduct EUROPRIVACY audits. It was in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, end of 2023. And the first audit was completed in 2024 And I was lucky enough, and I felt privileged to hand over the very first EUROPRIVACY certificate to PwC Luxembourg, still in 2024. So, in a nutshell, that is EUROPRIVACY, which is a tool to confirm and certify the conformity of the GDPR and more generally the data protection standards.
So ensure for myself, but also to confirm to the outside world that I'm 100% compliant with the GDPR and that people can trustfully provide me with their data, and maybe even that it does not make sense to check on my data privacy internal rules. That's why I eventually should ask you or other experts to make the audit, and then and also the certification bodies to make the audit and then give me the certification, which I can then put on my website. This is something like that, to say it as a normal human.
Oh, well, yes. If you're asking that, why is it important for you or for your company to get a certification? I think there are a couple of good reasons for that. Probably one, for one, I can mention that it reduces risks, because regardless whether you are running a company who is dealing with natural persons, individuals, and processing their customers' personal data, or you are running a company in a B2B environment, then still you are always running a risk of GDPR compliance or data privacy compliance. And even if you've done your homework to some extent, the question is how protected your data processing activities are. And it's, I think it is highly beneficial to have a check with external auditors, especially testing your systems, your methods, your processes against officially registered and widely approved and accepted controls. So when you can have a confirmation on that, in that level, then you can significantly reduce your risk.
Maybe, and I should finally give the word to Elena, but as I said, this discussion will have a little bit of a flow. So a question that popped into my mind instantly was shooting into the own lines of attorneys and advisors. There can be also a law firm coming to you and saying, "Hey, we will check on your internal processes and GDPR, etc., etc., etc." But is there a guarantee when the certified auditor will make the check that firstly, I know that if they will make the audit, it's actually like really correct, and that it will be sufficient in any cases, and also that maybe the better thing could be that it will be then sufficient in any country of Europe, and this may later on be the bridge to talk about Spain. So are these maybe the two very good reasons to really go for the EUROPRIVACY certification?
Yes, I think you're getting the point, because as I mentioned, EUROPRIVACY is recognized in all EU countries. So if you are having an enterprise in the Czech Republic, for example, and planning to move to any other European country, then you will be able to use this tool, this EUROPRIVACY seal, this certification, to build trust in that market when you are entering it. And it's very beneficial to demonstrate your compliance, especially if you are dealing with sensitive data. But otherwise, basically in every business environment, I think, because you can value your compliance in what do I mean about that, value in compliance? When you are having a certificate, it can be used as a source of competitive advantages and so revenue. Usually, having a compliance department in a company or having a staff for complying with data privacy matters, it's a cost center of a company. But you can turn it into a profit center. Because if you are compliant with the rules and you have an official certification that verifies your compliance, then it's absolutely beneficial, and I think it's a market advantage if you are dealing with private customers. But if you are not, but you are running a business-to-business company, then, and for example, you are a data processor, then you can still confirm to your controller, to your business partners, that you are comply with the rules, and that they can save costs on due diligences on the GDPR 28. So it's an absolutely competitive benefit for you.
Perfect. So I will use the fact that basically without speaking to you, I didn't know about EUROPRIVACY as the bridge to Elena, with whom we spoke about the situation in Spain, where basically also the knowledge about the fact that something like that is coming is also not very high. And it's despite the fact that Helena is actually doing a DPO, so herself. And we also like confirmed when we were preparing for this discussion that basically the knowledge is very low, and there is maybe one company in the whole Spain that we are aware of. So Elena, please tell us something about this. How do you see the EUROPRIVACY and the Spanish situation?
Yes, so Wojtek, first of all, I would like to thank you for this kind invitation. As you said, I'm a lawyer in Allion ETL, a company from the ETL group based in Barcelona. And I'm on the data protection team where we are external advisors for small and medium companies, but we are also DPOs in medium and large companies and companies that handle sensitive data. And in both cases, we support them in their daily operations. Like when they launch a new project, when they have security breaches, and also doing standard data protection audits, not EUROPRIVACY protection audits for the moment. So as you were saying, it's not very known right now, so it might raise a lot of questions for the companies. So this is a great way for the company to show real GDPR compliance. But as you were saying, for the moment, its adoption, it has been slow. In Spain, things are a bit more advanced, maybe, rather than other countries from European Union, but it is still in its first stages. To put the situation in context, as you were saying, in Spain, there is just one company that has obtained the certification. We have very few accredited bodies that can issue the certification. We have also very few expert partners that can officially assess in Spain. But I was checking, and this slow adoption is normal. Like ISO certification years ago, EUROPRIVACY just needs time to become established. So it was just approved, as Sultan was saying, a few years ago, so it's very young. And the three main reasons for this slow but normal adoption, maybe it could be that companies are simply not aware of the benefits that Sultan was saying, and they just think it's just bureaucracy. It's also another factor, maybe it's that they think it's super expensive. So these two factors in Spain affects a lot, because we have a lot of small and medium-sized companies, so they cannot afford maybe this kind of certifications. And finally, another cause that affects a lot in Spain, and I see it every day, is that companies just want to have the minimum measures of data protection. They just want to avoid the sanction, and that's it, because they are not aware of the real data protection risks. No? But despite this landscape, things are starting to change in Spain, because on the one hand, our supervisory authority, Agencia Española de Protección de Datos, openly supports this certification, so this is super good. And on the other hand, as you were saying, we have the first company that obtained the certification, but it's not a usual company. We are talking about Iberdrola. It's one of the 5 most important electric companies in the world. So this company certified its digital contractual process, because I would just want to point out here that the EUROPRIVACY audit don't audit all the company, but only the activities that the company want to be certified. So in the Iberdrola case, it was just the digital contractual process that was certified. So what happened? Iberdrola certification sets a strong precedent here in Spain. So we know that from that moment, some other companies start their audit, their EUROPRIVACY audit, although they are keeping it confidential for now. So in short, basically, EUROPRIVACY will for sure grow in Spain in the next years, and probably too in other countries in Europe, I hope. But it's only a matter of time.
Okay.
Yes, and just...
Okay, so
you made a very good point, Elena, that there's always usually there's always a big front runner. In case of Germany, Allianz was I think the first company who got the certification, and since then in the German market, the awareness, EUROPRIVACY awareness, growth significantly, and now new companies are coming very quickly and reaching out for EUROPRIVACY certification. And one more thing is that yes, it is probably not for everyone, not for all companies, not for the very small ones, but and it's a usual misconcept that if you have a company, you want just the minimum compliance. There is no minimum compliance. You are either compliant or not. And if you are just doing just the minimum and putting together some documents, then it's not compliance.
I agree. Absolutely.
There are many topics that we can touch in this respect. So there were three that came to my mind just when Elena was speaking, and I decided that I'm going to name them, and then we will take them maybe, as we think what is the most interesting. So you touched the topic of price. I think this is super relevant. Also, I would like to speak about the fact that you are acting as a DPO for many companies, and I would really like to understand, is it actually something that the DPO should want to have for the company? Because maybe for the security of his own, this could be a good thing to have, because then he can basically, get rid of maybe a little bit of the responsibility if something goes wrong. And also, you said that that you don't have to put a stamp of the EUROPRIVACY on all of your processes in your company. Everyone is now speaking about AI in the world. Basically, there is not a second on LinkedIn when someone is posting something new about AI. So we can, I think, touch the topic of AI as well. And maybe, everyone was probably GDPR compliant half a year ago, a month ago, but then they started to use AI. And are they still sure about being GDPR compliant once using the AI? So let's touch all of these topics. Which one do you like the most? Is it the price? Is it the DPO? Or is it the AI?
Concerning the DPO, I mean, you get the point, because if you are having a DPO, then the DPO is of course liable to the management of the company's privacy procedures, to provide advice, monitor the system, and actually make recommendations how to make it better. So once it is done, you have an appointed DPO, and he's done his work. Then what? And then I think it is beneficial for both the DPO and the company to have an external check, because why for the DPO, as you just mentioned, if the DPO did his homework and it is fine, and the company is compliant from GDPR perspective, then it's a confirmation for himself that he did his work well, and it's not just well done. It's a limitation of liability, because then it's an evidence for him or her that okay, there was an external audit, and the external audit confirmed that these proceedings are compliant with the data protection rules. And it's always and also beneficial for the company as well, because even if you have the best DPO with a pedigree of the highest standard, then are you sure that he did not overlook something? Are you sure that he did his work perfectly flawless? You cannot be, because it's a very specific expertise. The data protection and the legal aspects of this. And having a second view, an external view, is always good to reduce risk. Because at the end of the day, if there is a authorities inspection and the sanction, then it's a company who will.
I actually like much more the approach of DPO actually willing to have the EUROPRIVACY, because he wants the best for the company and also for himself. And I want to believe that basically when the DPO is the one who proposes and maybe even pushes it through the financial segment of the company, that they should go for the EUROPRIVACY, he will then be sleeping much better afterwards. So I think every DPO should think about EUROPRIVACY certification, because this can basically really help. And as I'm really lucky to have two people from two different countries of the EU, where in one of them, the widespread is not yet really delivered, and maybe even to find or choose the right certification authority in Spain would be difficult. And on the other hand, we've got a person from Hungary who is basically representing TAMCERT as one of the certification authorities. Can Elena come to you, Sultan, and ask you or TAMCERT to basically run a certification process on a Spanish company? Is this fine?
Yes, it's possible. And actually, we are doing certifications and audits in several European countries. We have completed certification and audit in Germany for Allianz, in Austria, in Italy, in France. So yes, we are doing, and we are authorized to do audits and issue certification for all European countries. And as I mentioned, TAMCERT was the first one who has this accreditation for certification. Now we have 2 or 3 companies all over Europe, but it's not too many. But every company has the right to complete audits in the EU.
Perfect.
So Dan, one question regarding this. Then if you maybe do the EUROPRIVACY audit to a Spanish company, you will have into account also the national legislation, or for the EUROPRIVACY audit, you just have to consider the GDPR?
Basically, as the GDPR is applicable in all EU countries, that is the basic and that is the core legal provision that we need to check the compliance with. But of course, if there are special national legislation, and it can happen in certain data processing activities, especially. So, for example, if you are a bank or a financial institution, that probably you have even stricter or specific regulations, local regulations. Then, of course, there is a mechanism in the EUROPRIVACY audit to check these and get the confirmation from a legal expert that the company, besides the generally applied European rules, the company also confirms and complies with the local national rules.
Okay.
So I think we will take price as the last one, because everyone wants to know how much.
We haven't done AI.
So yeah, let's jump to AI and maybe to get into it in a way that most of the listeners might be able to personalize themselves with. And I would start with Elena. So Elena, you are acting as a DPO. Let's pick in your mind, and you don't have to name it, or you maybe even can't name it, one of your clients, one of the companies where you are acting as a DPO. And this company probably started using AI. How do you actually even check on that? With AI coming, do you as a DPO actually come to the CEO of the company and ask, okay, so who is using AI here? Or should the CEO actually come to you as a DPO and say, hey, we want to start using AI. Can we do it? How is it with the data, etc.? And so please, tell us a little bit about how you normally operate these days, and then maybe let's take a look at your real operation from the perspective of the EUROPRIVACY.
So yeah, if we are aware of data protection, that of course in my data protection team we are a lot, we choose the AI tool that comply with the GDPR and they treat our data with the most secure way, of course. So we are just all of our team, we are using the same tool that treat the data super carefully. And I was thinking also about EUROPRIVACY topic, and in the future, if AI tools are starting to obtaining the EUROPRIVACY tool, for sure, my team will choose first a company, an AI tool that has the EUROPRIVACY certificate rather than a one that doesn't have it. So to end with this, I would like to ask Zoltan if he thinks that in the future, companies like ChatGPT or maybe AI tools from Europe will obtain the certification.
Yes,
maybe they already applied.
Yeah, probably. Yes. AI is not just. I totally agree with you, Wojtek, that AI is not just a fancy trend or a new wave of coolness or whatever, but it is actually reshaping the whole business environment. Everybody is using AI these days, and it's getting more and more. And to be frank, I think most of the companies using AI have no real knowledge or real awareness whether these use of AI affect their IT security, their data processing, and data security measures they applied before. So what to do? How to maintain the data security and IT security? How to make adequate assessment about your security? How to adopt new measures? What sort of measures you need to adopt? These are the questions a CEO should ask. And there is an answer on a European level, because we have a AI Act which was introduced in 2024. And is getting it is now effective, and I think in 2026 this year the high risk AI, the rules regarding the high risk AI becomes absolutely enforceable. So everyone who is using AI should ask these sort of questions, because the AI Act introduced completely new standards, requirements regarding transparency, regarding accountability, regarding continuous monitoring, introduced level of risk levels to be checked and assessed. So it's a completely new thing, and there will be a certification for that as well. But the AI Act is not an independent initiative. It works hand in hand with the data privacy matters and the GDPR, and it's actually part of the AI compliance to have GDPR compliance. So it's very good, because now it comes EUROPRIVACY, because EUROPRIVACY has an implemented tool for the AI checks. So if your company is actually using AI and you are running EUROPRIVACY audit, or checking your systems through a EUROPRIVACY audit, then we are authorized and we have the ability to check the data privacy aspects of the used AI. So I can tell you that in some of our audits, the companies are using AI, and we could check the controls and could confirm their readiness and their compliance.
So maybe to wrap this a little bit up, someone has started thinking about data privacy and GDPR check after the rise of AI, and maybe they have grown into the volume of data usage and technology usage that they really want to reevaluate their data privacy policies and compliance. maybe really this is the right time to think about EUROPRIVACY, because you basically can, let's say, solve a few problems at the same time. Maybe I can even say for one price. Maybe the last thing around the AI, if no one else has other one, that is, I know we discussed the systems that we are or will be using with in one of our projects, and that is the Azure solutions. I would say Azure Cloud, through which you might be sorting the data, which you then send requests to the OpenAI, for example. And if I remember correctly, you said that basically Azure is one of the technical solutions which are okay, speaking as again a normal human from the GDPR perspective. Is that right, or can you?
Yes, basically, I mean, if you are talking about solutions provided by external companies, I mean external, not EU companies, for example, Microsoft. At the moment, we are having EU is having a framework, a data privacy framework with the US, and companies who have self-assessed themselves and part of this framework, such as Microsoft, are considered to be so-called safer companies, where to the data can be transferred, of course, using adequate safeguards and measures, but definitely not a no-go company. So okay. for your example, yes, Microsoft can be a safe company, regardless of the fact that it is a US company.
How about now? I don't want to make a check on other companies that are trending, even though I would be very keen knowing it, for example, some of the agents, but let's start.
And I just wanted to. It's very easy because there is an official website where you can check all the companies who are part of this framework. So okay. it's open for everyone to check.
Perfect. I will do that right after the call, and we will post the link also below our discussion. But I know that we also discussed that basically there are also no-go territories to which the data should really not go from the EU point of view perspective.
Yes, you should be very careful not to transfer data to countries where the actual privacy is not adequately secured, or there are national measures which actually not in line with the European standards. Asian countries can be such like that.
Perfect. Okay, let's speak about the price. I'm really very curious.
It's very difficult, but Jelena just mentioned that some companies or some people think that it is a pricey exercise. On one hand, there might be, but on the other hand, it's like a marathon when you run 40 kilometers and you stop and you don't finish, because I think the most costly part of this compliance is adopting the adequate measures, making your company compliant. That can be a whole of a cost. And once you're done and you think and you believe that you're compliant, having a certificate, I would say, is just a cherry on the top. You should enjoy your compliance. So once you've done your work, then you should enjoy it. And having a certificate, an external certificate, is a tool for allowing you to enjoy this reward. Concerning the costs, much as Jelena very accurately pointed out, we are checking data processing activities, and much depend on how deep and how complex is the certain activity. So, for example, very simple activity, very simple data processing, like a cookie system of a website, is much different than for a bigger organization like an insurance company having thousands of customers and checking their procedures. So it's very difficult to say a price, and it cannot be, because it's always decided on a case-by-case basis. I would say that the pricing roughly is between something like 13,000 euro and 25,000 euro, something like that. But as I mentioned, it can vary, and it can be lower or higher depending on the actual case.
Well, thank you very much for letting yourself, get pushed into saying numbers, because not everyone would do that. And I know it's always hard to say these things from both business, but also, accuracy perspective, because I can totally understand. Maybe we can, slow down here a little bit for a few seconds or minute. What are the main aspects that actually then, in the end, decide about the price? So it's, let's say, for example, the amount of customers that I have, or the amount of websites that I operate, or the complexity of my system, or what is the biggest point here with regard?
There are lots of aspects, such as whether you are using AI, whether you are using cameras, whether you intend to check the for example, employee data protection systems, and you have loads of employees, or you are running a company who has thousands of customers with different procedures. So
I guess also what types of data I'm collecting,
yes.
right?
And just an example, one audit can. We are about to audit every procedure, every process, every data procedure. So if you have a business process that includes several data processing activities, then we have to first slide this business proceeding, check how many data processes are there, and then calculate one by one. So it's a complex exercise, but actually the EUROPRIVACY scheme and the EUROPRIVACY audit consists of 3 phases. First phase is an introductory phase when the certification, the management who provides the certificate actually collects all the data, all the information, all the data flows, all the documentation, everything, and they check whether there are everything in order and you have everything that is needed to actually start the audit. And then comes the audit itself, which takes about, I would say, 6-7 weeks if everything goes well, and there is no problem.
I'm truly glad that we are using the trendy words like 6-7 here. It's, we are really modern.
Really?
Yeah. I will send you a link on this later on.
Okay,
go on.
So that's about checking the documentation, but it's not just documentation checking. There is a site audit. We have to go to the actual location where the activities are managed or operated from. And there is not just a legal side, but also a technical side of the audit. So we have IT staff on board. They are checking the IT measures, the IT security measures, the setups, everything. And then when we finish the audit itself, then comes the third phase when the certification body actually makes the final decision based on the audit's recommendation. So together takes, in normal circumstances, I would say approximately 10 weeks.
Okay.
If there is no big issue.
So when I order your services here from Prague, basically I have to also count on few people coming to visit me.
Yeah, sure.
And
it's obligatory.
Okay, well, which might be one of the reasons for a local company to go forward to a local certification body or a certification company. Maybe when you, Helena, confirm this, phases of the process to the way you normally operate while checking on the GDPR compliance, let's say, of your clients. Is it?
Well, yeah. The main difference is what I was saying before, that we do an audit of all the company. So we don't focus on one activity or few like EUROPRIVACY, but we meet all the departments, the responsibles from all the departments. We check each of them, and then after the audit, we give each of them a report with the issues of only this department and the measures they need to check. So it's more or less the same, but with all the company.
Okay.
So maybe it would take, if it's a complex company, it would take even more than 10 weeks.
And about the technical check, how deep do you go, or when you operate, or do you maybe ask the company to make the technical check somewhere, with on their own? Because I guess you are only making the legal part.
Yeah, exactly. We meet them in person there in the offices, so we can check that what they are saying it's true, of course. And then when we ask other things, technical things, AI or whatever, we need also documentation that accredit what they are saying, of course. Yeah.
Okay, but so you also have to check the technical part of things. Like you as the DPO, and you want to know that everything is fine. You don't only read through the papers, if I say it like this, but also you want someone to take a look at it from the technical point of view. But maybe again, coming back to the EUROPRIVACY certification and audit, this could really be the way for the DPO to be 100% sure that the things are correct, and maybe even really get rid of the responsibility when something goes wrong, because I can imagine that in some cases, some companies, when the person doesn't really know what to look for, mainly technically, you don't really have to get to the point always. So the auditor, I guess, knows really where to go, what to look at in terms of the technical infrastructure, I guess, servers, data flow, etc., etc. Maybe from the technical standpoint, Zoltan, if I may ask, what should I prepare, as a company when I would be preparing for the audit, or maybe one step back? If I want to ask for the EUROPRIVACY, is it better to start the certification process and find that something is wrong and then solve it on the go, or is it better to maybe first prepare properly and then go for the certification?
Well, if you ask me as an auditor, I would say that it's much better for you to prepare and then come to us when you are ready, because otherwise the audit can be a lengthy exercise. Of course, there is a time limit, and when we recognize some non-conformities, then it doesn't mean that on the very first minute we stand up and leave the room. We raise questions, we have interviews, and when we find something, then we communicate. We cannot make recommendations, but we make a note on any non-conformities, and it's not like if there is any non-conformity, then it's done. Then you cannot pass, because there are two different level of non-conformities. There are major non-conformities and minor non-conformities. You cannot pass the audit with a major non-conformity. That means major non-conformity, any non-conformity qualifies as a major one if it is infringing the GDPR rules.
Okay. But I can clear all the non-conformities, or when there is a major one, this blocks the process.
Depending on how severe is the non-conformity. If it's a major one, but it can be solved quickly and rapidly, and you present immediately the remedy for that, then we have a procedure to acknowledge it, check it and acknowledge it if it's an actual remedy. But if you have just minor non-conformities, which means that you are not infringing the GDPR, but other EUROPRIVACY standards, you are not 100% qualified with other EUROPRIVACY standards, then those can be qualified as minor non-conformities. And even with up to 5 minor non-conformities, you are still good, so you can still get the certification.
Okay. Now I actually have a a question that you just raised in my mind, that is the auditor really, sorry to say, like an enemy of mine, where like some companies might even be afraid to let them in, and this could be a reason for them to postpone, even though they would see the benefit of the EUROPRIVACY, they could still, say, okay, but we start the audit and he will find out something. Does he actually even, the auditor, eventually have to announce that he has found some major problems in the internal GDPR compliance, to the local authority, for example? Or can we say that this cannot happen?
We are not an authority, so we are a company who are entrusted and who are engaged to conduct the audit. If there is a non-compliance and we cannot issue the certificate, then we won't. Of course, there are tracks of that. So it's not so good for a company, of course. But I think it's always good to have an external view, and we are not enemies of our clients, I would say, because we are just keeping the mirror. And if it's not nice, then you know what to change. And I think it's a very good way to improve your compliance. But otherwise, if you just close the door and wait for your luck and the authority comes, then it can be much severe.
But it might still be better, like taking a look at it as someone who would be thinking about it, to really ask, let's say, someone like you, but not in the position of the auditor, but rather as the advisor, with the knowledge, deep knowledge of the field, to prepare for the audit properly, and then go for the audit. Then maybe as we spoke about it.
Yeah, I mean what Elena and her team is doing is very, very well and very great. I mean, having external auditors and external checks is always good. The difference between EUROPRIVACY audit and I would say standard legal or privacy audit is that we have a standardized, harmonized, accredited, Europe-wide recognized control system. So when you are having a certification, it's more than having an approval from a local or a multinational, whatever, legal company. It's more valuable. It's when I mentioned about why you need EUROPRIVACY, why is it good for you? Then all the benefits are coming from the fact that, not all, but most of the benefits are coming from the fact that this is a standardized, harmonized, and accredited procedure and certification.
What I meant was rather that, I know that you can act as the auditor, but also may happen that the company will hire you as an attorney, to help them prepare for the audit.
I cannot prepare for the audit as I'm as an auditor. So it cannot be. It's a strict. There's a strict distinction. So if I prepare a company if someone prepares a company for whatever, then he cannot be the auditor.
Yeah, sure. I understand that you can either act as an attorney or as an auditor. That's clear. But can you actually be acting as an attorney preparing?
As tempted, I'm acting as an auditor.
Okay. Sorry, so there was a misunderstanding on my side. But basically, what I was trying to reach is the point that as a company, it really might be wise to ask someone very well GDPR oriented to make a preparation for the certification, and then go to do the audit, because basically you can get to the point in the middle of the audit where there is nearly no way out. That can probably be the worst case scenario.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, and there is a role for that, and it is called implementer. When you are having an implementer who has a knowledge of the EUROPRIVACY standards, then he can help you to prepare for the audit, before the audit. And when the implementer says that, okay, now you are ready, I checked everything and I think you can pass the test, then you call for the auditor and the auditor comes and especially it's good because in that case you and your prepared company might have an easier time with the audit, a quicker audit, and so on. So
Maybe.
when we are auditing companies who were implemented and who were helped by specialists knowing the EUROPRIVACY standards, then we have an experience that it's usually quicker.
Talking from the legal business perspective, is this potentially a new field of business for the DPOs to become the implementers for the EUROPRIVACY?
Definitely, it can be. It can be. Yes, I agree.
And Wojtek, I would like to ask Zoltan that do you think having the certification would reduce at all, entirely, the possibility to have a sanction from the supervisory authority?
Not in a direct way. So it's not a sharing of responsibility or liability. It's still the company who is liable for his procedures and methods applied. But when you have a certified procedure, then you are, I would say, can be sure that at least in that procedure, the authority won't sanction you because it's a very strict audit. We have very strict rules and very, very detailed controls. So when we go through all of those, I'm talking about more than 150 controls. So when we go through all that in such a depth, then you can be sure that part of your company is safe from sanctions.
But the thing is that maybe if you get the certification on January, for example, and I think the next audit would be in 3 years, I saw.
No, the audit, after the audit, the certification is issued for 3 years, you're right. But annually there is a surveillance audit. So every year, every anniversary of the issuance of the certificate, we will appear again, not personally, but we don't have to go there every year, but to have a site audit, but we will appear and we will check if there were any changes of the processing activity which we audited, and if we found some non-conformities before that, then whether these were addressed and the remedies were adequate. So we will have an annual quick and much smaller scope of audit.
But during this year, if the company say when they were getting the certification, yeah, we do the things like this, but then during that year, before the check that you do after a year, they change things in practice, maybe they will get a sanction. No, I would like to point out that the most important thing is for the company to implement the measures during all year, not only when they are getting the certification.
Yes, it's a continuous exercise for the company. Not just because of EUROPRIVACY, but because of the general compliance with the data protection rules. But if there is a change in the audited procedure, then they should notify us that we change some part of the already audited process, and we will ask certain questions and check whether those still comply with the rules or whether the changes make a whole mess, and then we should go much more into the detail.
So maybe the company, when they make some changes in their data processing flows or data flows, etc., should they announce the authority or someone?
No.
TAMCET. If the audit is completed by TAMCET, then TAMCET. So basically, the certification body who issued the certificate should be notified about any substantial changes of the. So, for example, if the DPO is changed, it's not necessary to name to notify immediately the certification body. But if for example there is no DPO anymore, or if you change some important measures, then you should notify.
And it's important also to point out here that the company needs to inform the DPO before the change, not during the change or at the end of the change.
Of course, that's.
And when there is this yearly check, sorry to ask a very, I don't know, maybe a little bit picky question, but is it again a paid service, or is this this is conducted for free by the certification authority, or how is this?
No, it is when it's very much into the details now. But when there is an engagement for the audit, then TAMCERT and the applicant conducts or goes and signs a contract, and the contract is for 3 years.
Okay.
So for a 3 years service, which there is a part of the audit and there is a part of the annual surveillance audits.
Okay.
So the whole cost to be paid under the contract is defined therein. So it's not like that after a year we come and say, okay, now you have to pay this amount and that amount. So you have a good sense at the very beginning how much it will cost you for the whole 3 years. On the other hand, for that you got a kind of audit maintenance for these 3 years. So you have somebody who talk with and somebody who will come and check and confirm and validate your procedures. So you can safely use EUROPRIVACY logos and actually the trust that it builds for these 3 years. So it's not like that I got this pledge 3 years ago and I still use it, but probably I changed everything. So it's not like that. So when you have the certification, every third person can be sure that you are continuously monitored by the certification.
I can really imagine a client asking me this question. So you know, this is something which you really want to know it about. So
yeah, sure.
Okay. We are 10 minutes over the limit, but we started 15 minutes late. So I think this is the perfect time to let the EUROPRIVACY and DPO topic in the online world. And if anyone has any question about this, please feel free to reach out to us on the EROS International websites or with our experts here, who again have been Elena Pock from Lyon, Spain, and Zoltan Temeshi from ABT and TAMCERT, Hungary. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, for your experience and information shared. I think that for a topic that might not sound super interesting from above, we found like so much topics that were very easy to talk about for an hour and something. So thank you very much, and I can't wait to have some other call with you very time soon.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Have a nice day, everyone, and
see
you at the next call, next discussion. Bye-bye.
Bye.